Hello, I'm Vicky and I'm here at the head office of one of the UK's largest providers of ICT equipment to the educational market. I'll be meeting John Sutton, who is going to be showing us some of the wide range of products and telling us about the huge benefits they can bring to your learning environment. I'm here with John Sutton and John's going to tell us all about Class Comm. Now, what does that incorporate?
Class Comm involves using handsets, a receiver, a teacher handset and software.
OK, so I presume that each pupil in the class is given one of these handsets. Can I have a hold?
Yes, certainly. I have one here. If you hold that one. And you can see on the handset here that there's various ways in which I can ask my class to interact with the questions that I'm putting up on the screen in front of me. So you can see I've got a green and a red button which I can answer true or false or yes or no. I've got a multiple choice, 1 to 6 or A to F. I've got, that could also be multi-mark if there's more than one right answer. And I've also got a full numeric keypad, so I can do decimals, I can do fractions, and I can do negative numbers as well.
It's great because actually it looks really a bit like a mobile phone, and actually the layout's quite like a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And I suppose for students in the era of sort of texting,
yeah,
it's something they're quite comfortable with.
Definitely, yes. You can see it's got texting options on there as well, so we can actually text answers in, and they can probably do it without looking at it, whereas you or I might have to look at it a bit more carefully. But it's exactly the same layout as a mobile phone, yes.
And it feels very solid.
Yes. It has rechargeable batteries in it, and you could also put a SIM card in it as well with all the students' details. So all the students' details just go straight into the handset, and then that identifies who that person is who's using that handset.
And with rechargeable batteries, again, not only good for the environment, but also financially, a good idea.
Yeah, comes with a charging unit, so you can charge 8 of them up at one time.
And as you say, it's got the true, false, yes, no.
Yeah.
I presume that only students can talk to you. There is no possibility of students starting to interact.
No, the texting option is only for the student to interact with the screen that they can see at the front. There's no way that students can actually interact with each other with this. Although the teacher can send a message out to all the students which would appear on the handset, that is possible, or can send a message to one individual student if they wish to.
And as we said, they're quite sturdy, they're quite sort of chunky.
Yeah.
Every child will get one, every student.
Yes.
How do you know who's sending you what?
Right, well, each one is identified, it has a number on the back, and so when I set the students up in my database, then I can identify them by the number and allocate them a handset. That's one way I can do it. Or when I set the system up, I can give each student an individual ID number, which is like a PIN number. And so when we log in, they use that PIN number, and then again that identifies who they are on the system. So there's two ways that you can manage the handsets.
And if they're interacting, is there a way that they would, what they are texting or sending you, would appear instantly up on the board?
You'll see it on the actual screen here, on the pad first, and then you press send to send that information onto the screen.
And then that information comes to both the lecturer or the teacher's handset and also onto the system? Well,
the teacher can display that, yes, if they wish to. It's up to the teacher whether or not they want to be able to see that kind of information.
So you do have a way of monitoring it, just in case you have anybody sneaky who wants to send something that maybe they shouldn't.
Yes.
You actually are the gateway and you can stop.
Yes, we can monitor that so nothing like that would ever get through.
Yes, and make sure that everything that goes on there is what you want
the
class to see.
Yes.
But no, it's fantastic. What different colours? Any reason for that?
Yes, on one of our products, the Genee wall, then we use the yellow buttons here to actually move things around on the screen, so it's truly interactive.
Oh, wow.
The students would have their own tile that they can see, and they use the yellow to go up, down, left or right and navigate themselves around on the screen to either fix themselves on an object or make a choice of what they can see on the screen. So that's what those yellow buttons would be used for with that particular product, Genee wall.
And again, for children and students of all ages?
Yes, indeed. Again, right down to Key Stage 1, 6 and 7-year-olds could use this on a very simple level, right up to university level where we're asking quite complex questions and then we're asking for a response from the handsets. Or even if I'm doing a survey at the end of a conference where I want to gauge opinion of the delegates who've attended, I can put some questions up and then collect the data from here as well.
We were talking about this as well and sort of saying that it can go to children of all ages.
Mm-hmm.
You were a teacher for 20 years.
Yeah.
What kind of subjects would you say would really lend themselves to something like this?
Again, any subject really that you chose to use it with. It's very flexible, you're portable, you can take it around with you wherever you are. You decide on the content. It's up to the teacher to create the content, although we do provide you with content as well. The teacher can make their own if they wish to. So it's up to you to create the content to the level that you're teaching at.
Because it comes in via the system, but what does it interact with on the laptop?
It interacts with a piece of software which we can see here called Comm, and you can see the interface is open here. So on the left hand side we've got two tabs, one that says resources, where if I open this folder up here you can see all the resources that I've currently got on the system inside folders, and then the other tab says student, and that's where all my student data is sitting. So that's where I can see all the students currently in my class, and if I've done any activities, all their marks have been recorded in this column here, as you can see. So if I go back over to the Resources tab, I can open up any of these folders here, and then these are all activities. So if I click on an activity, you'll now see a set of slides appears on the right-hand side, and those are the slides with the questions that I've prepared that I'm now going to present to the class.
Do you find that students really get quite excited about using this? Because it is very interactive and quite good fun.
Yeah, definitely. They get very excited. I might use it, for instance, to start a lesson off, to get children engaged and interested in what I'm going to teach about during that lesson. Or for me to gain some formative assessment, that means I'm going to put some questions in front of them, see what sort of answers they give me back, and then that's going to give me a guide as a teacher as to where I need to focus on in that lesson. Or similarly, at the end of a lesson, I'm going to use it as part of my plenary or summary activity, where I'm going to test out how well I've achieved the objective of that lesson and where perhaps I need to focus for my next lesson, judging on the responses that I've been given back.
And using something like this, I presume, we're talking sort of an average, if there's such a thing, sort of classroom size, the radius of how far that you can interact using this, the transmission.
Yeah, it'll go up to 100 metres or more with the receiver that we've got here. It's all radio based, so it doesn't matter where that receiver sits in the classroom, it's going to pick it up from anywhere.
You could actually take I suppose if you went out on a field trip, something like that, and if you have the kit with you and it is portable, you could use it anywhere, really.
You could use it anywhere, yes. It's completely portable, so as long as you've got your laptop or your PC with you to run the software, you can run it anywhere at all.